Anyone here a secret snacker? Hiding crisps in the bathroom? Eating Easter eggs under the duvet? I used to sit outside Tesco's in my van and eat a whole packet of donuts in about 3 minutes. That's before they downsized the packet from 5 donuts to 4 donuts. But imagine doing that not because of greed, but because you need to. Because your life depends on it. Stay to the end, because I'm going to show you why hiding might be killing your purpose. This is where we find Gideon. Not snacking, but threshing wheat. Hiding in a wine press. Picture this. It's tiny. It smells of sour grapes. It's dark. And it's definitely not where you normally thresh wheat. Here's the context from Judges 6. His people had been oppressed for the last 7 years. All their food was stolen or destroyed. Villages were destroyed, and the people were starving. We don't know what age Gideon is in this story, but he's the youngest in his family, and later in the story, he's a young adult, so we can assume he's probably a teenager at this point. He lived with his dad and definitely didn't feel like a warrior. He's the least in his tribe, and he has to hide. This is me at 14. I certainly felt like that. I wasn't popular. I was awkward. I was a pretty weird kid. Maybe you felt like this, like hiding away, even like hiding who you are. Like if people saw the real you, they'd attack you. The wine press isn't a brave place. It's a desperate place. Point 1. God sees you differently than you see yourself. But then God showed up for Gideon. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Gideon didn't feel strong, didn't feel brave, didn't feel chosen. Why me? We've all been there, right? But God saw his potential. Gideon didn't stand alone. What's the one thing about yourself that you're most ashamed of? God sees that differently than you do. God doesn't wait for you to feel ready. He just waits for you to say yes. But here's where it gets really crazy. What Gideon did next changes everything. Gideon tears down the altar to Baal, but at night because he was afraid. This wasn't a public protest. It was a scared, shaking act of civil disobedience. Gideon was standing against his own family beliefs, his community's expectations. Here's what you need to understand. Baal worship was woven into everyday life. Baal controlled the rain. In a hot, dry region where they relied on farming for their food. If you didn't honor Baal, the rain might stop. The food, what little they had, would stop growing. Everyone would suffer. Tearing down the altar wasn't just a spiritual act. It was seen as, you're trying to destroy our way of life. You're risking our food, our families, and our crops. Imagine if someone told your whole town, hey, we're going to stop paying the electricity bill because we trust God to keep the lights on. That's how radical Gideon's act was, tearing down Baal's altar. It was like unplugging the rain. Challenging Baal wasn't just spiritual, it was social suicide. Sometimes standing out doesn't mean just being loud. It just means doing the right thing, even when it's terrifying. What's one thing you know is right, but you're scared to do? Drop it in the comments. Let's encourage each other. But Gideon's story gets even more incredible. Later in the story, God tells Gideon to shrink his army to 300. The army starts out at 32,000, then 10,000, then just 300. Gideon's not fighting alone, but God wants him to fight with people who are ready, focused, and faithful. God is showing that victory doesn't come from numbers or strength, but from trust. This is your friend group, your leaders, your crew. You don't need 300, you need 3. Gideon's 300 surround the enemy with torches and trumpets. God causes confusion, and the Midianites destroy themselves. This moment isn't about the muscle or power. It's about faith and obedience. They don't win because they're strong. They win because God was with them. Say it with me. You don't stand alone. When you feel weak, anxious, or not good enough, God still chooses you. He doesn't just send you, He goes with you. Maybe today you feel like Gideon in the winepress, hiding, afraid. But God sees more in you than you see in yourself. I want to invite you to be someone who stands out in courage, who stands together in friendship, who stands strong in their faith. You don't have to feel brave to be chosen. You don't have to feel worthy. You don't have to stand alone. But here's what I really want to challenge you with. Gideon stood against injustice when his people were oppressed. He challenged systems that hurt people. Today, there are still systems that oppress, that hurt people. Still injustices that need brave people to stand up. Where do you see injustice? In your school, in your community, in your workplace, in the world? What altar of "that's just how things are" needs to be torn down? You might be young, you might feel weak, but God is calling you to stand. Standing takes courage, it takes work, it takes strength, but you stand with God, and God stands with you. Stop hiding who God made you to be. Stop hiding your faith. Stop hiding your voice when you see something wrong. You don't have to feel worthy to be chosen. You don't have to feel strong to stand up. You don't have to stand alone. The winepress was Gideon's hiding place, but it became his launching pad. What's your winepress? What are you hiding from? Because God's calling you out of hiding and into purpose. What's one area where you need to stop hiding and start standing? Tell me in the comments. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe if you want more content about living blindly for God. My name's Jacob, and this might be church.